morning, my lovelies. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Jamie. Today we are going to be doing something completely different. I have been wondering lately, how many books do I actually have and how many have I actually read? So today we are going to be doing an audit about all the books that I have obtained over the course of the last few years and how many of them have I actually read and what's the percentage of my library and what exactly is my buying to reading ratio, pretty much. So today I have already went through and counted how many books on each shelf. I haven't yet counted how many of that shelf I have read. We're going to be doing shelf by shelf. So we're going to be going shelf by shelf, so like 1, 2, 3, all the way down, and then we'll do all the math stuff later. I've been watching a couple of YouTubers do this, and the percentage of their library that they've actually read is kind of interesting because I see so many people who are like, we need at least half of the shelves read. And I do agree with that. If you've read at least half of what's on every shelf, you're doing pretty good. For me, I know for a fact my adult fiction that I started up 2 years ago is definitely not going to be half the shelf, if even that whole shelf. I'll admit. But my YA and my children's, I know, are going to put me in the upper levels. I'm hoping to at least have half of my library read. That would be awesome, or at least very close. So without further ado, we're going to start with this shelf. We're going to start with my YA, which is this shelf right here, all the way up to like about this point right here. So we're going to do that first, and then we're just going to make our way around the room. The children's is going to probably take a little bit more time because I have a lot more tinier books on that shelf, but we'll just swing with it. So let's get started. This is like one of those moments you wish you had a tripod instead of a little itty bitty one, because I just have a little itty bitty stand one. I don't have one of those full ones yet. That's next. But we're starting up with this shelf up here. Okay, so starting off with this shelf right here, going this way. I have read, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, no, 16, 17, 18, 19. Alright, so I've read 19 off of that first shelf. I wrote little slips of paper for each shelf so I could do this very, very easily. It's 29. 18 out of 29, that's not bad. That equals out to 66%. So we're starting out pretty good. This next shelf, this shelf is going to be interesting because it's just my selection series up here, a few oddballs, and then most of the rest is just the Mortal Instruments and my Hunger Games. So kind of you guys are also going to see what I have on my shelves as well. But in total, there's 22 books on the shelf. And I think I've only read, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10. Alright, so that one equals out to 46%. That's not quite halfway, but I think I just need to read like one book and it'll be over half. Or at half. We'll see. Moving on to this one. This one I have read a lot of. This is the rest of Hunger Games, Maze Runner, all the way up. I've read the majority of these, actually. So, in total, there's 29 on this one as well. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 14. So that equals out to 48%. That's very, very close. That's also kind of like a book away. So we're doing pretty good so far on the YA portion. I had a feeling it would be. But, yeah. Okay, now that we're done with the top ones, I can actually set you guys down. Okay, that is so much better. I cannot strain my arm doing that anymore, and then we'll migrate over to my desk after this. But, okay, so we took care of this one up here. So this one has 27 total. Okay, so out of that 27, let's see, I've read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's a Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I don't know if I'm going to count that. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So 16 off of this shelf. That equals 59% off of this shelf, which is pretty good. That's almost 60%, so I've definitely read more than half of this. I'm happy with that. Okay. Next one for this shelf is 23 books. So let's see. I haven't read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 16 for that one as well. That equals out to 70%. We're doing pretty good on the YA. Because I've read all of Stephenie Meyer except for one book. The Chemist is the only other book that Stephenie Meyer has written, and that's the only one I need to read from her, so that's definitely all done. And then Morgan Manson kind of took up this shelf along with Tiara Maybe. So next shelf, shelf number 6. This has 26 books on it. Most of this is Lauren Oliver, and then my James Patterson. So let's see. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Alright, 17 off of this one. So that equals out to 65%. So we're doing pretty good on the YA. The YA I don't have to worry about. I'm worried about my adult. I have a feeling a couple of those shelves are going to be like 0. But it is what it is. We'll roll with it. Alright, so that was the last one for this one, so now we gotta migrate up to the top again. Alright, we are back at the top. We are going to be doing this one up here. So, mostly my Peculiar Children and my Embrace series, which I've definitely read all my Embrace series. So, where's my paper? There it is. So, there's 27 on this one. I'm so happy I went through and counted all of them already. That way I didn't have to do that on camera for you guys. This is going so much faster than I wanted to. So out of 27, I haven't read this series yet. I need to read The Peculiars. I said that so badly. Anyway, so let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 13 books off of that shelf out of 27 is going to be... Okay, so that wasn't too bad. It is very close. That's a 48% one. So that one's doing okay. I think I just need to read like one more off of that and we'll be fine. Okay, on to the next one. Where's my paper? There it is. Okay, so we're doing this shelf right here. This one I also have a feeling is going to be very high because Kiersten White, I've already read most of her books already. I've already read The Uglies. So out of the 27, again, books that we have up here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Alright, 18 out of 27 is 66. So, over half. So I don't have to worry about this shelf. Yay! So we're in the green on that one. Alright, heading up to the beginning of our, well, the end of our YA, which starts about right here, The Book Thief. And then this starts my adult. I have a feeling from here on out, we're not going to be so lucky. But we'll see. That's definitely my goal this year, is to get it to at least half the library. So starting off, we have 26 books on this shelf. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 13 off of this shelf. And let's see. That's half. That's exactly half. That is 50%. That is awesome. I don't have to worry about that one. On to the next. Okay, we are back on the ground. My arm can get a rest. Because holding that thing up is tedious. Trying to keep it steady. Alright, so this shelf right here has 25. We're drifting into not so great territory. I can already tell just by looking at this. Starting off, I've read 1, 2, 3. Oh God. 4, 5, 6. If I did my thing right, out of 6, it's 20%. I don't know, my calculator messed something up down there, so hang on. Okay, I'm gonna put that corrected up here. But so far, that's not great. And this one's gonna be a whole lot worse because I've got all these to add up, and yeah. So that one's not so great. This has got 34 on here. Why do I get the feeling this is gonna be like 15 or something? Okay, so already we're not doing great. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's it. I haven't read the rest of her series yet. I've only read the first couple down to here. I don't own a lot of the beginning ones. I don't own them yet, so Chocolate Chip Cookie has definitely been one of the hardest to find. But doing the math, out of 8, out of 34, that's 24%. We're not doing too great right now. Okay. So this next shelf down here, this one's got 27 on it. So out of that 27, let's see, we've got 1. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. Okay, so out of 7, out of 27, that brings us to 26%. Yeah. So we're in the 20s range with adult right now. That's not exactly a good thing, but it's better than 0. I shouldn't say that because the next thing is my Ellen Hildebrand, and I haven't read very many yet. So let's see how that goes. Alright, now that we're finally over here, I can actually use my desk instead of having to hold it up all the time. Starting off, this is technically shelf number 13, because we're going shelf by shelf. But I can already tell you, this is my Ellen Hildebrand, and I have not read very many right now. So starting off with this one, I haven't read a single one yet on that shelf. So that brings us to 0% for that shelf. We're not doing too great right now. This one, I've only read 1, 2, 3, 4. Out of, how many was that? 12. 4 out of 12. So that's 4 out of 12. That's 33%. So that's not horrible, but still not great. Hopefully from here on out, because I am seeing a couple more that I have read, it'll be a little bit better than 0. Alright, this one, we got 12 on this one as well, and I've read 1, 2, 3 again. So that's 3. So that's less than 33. That's 25%. So I've read a quarter of that shelf. Yay. Alright, I gotta tilt you guys real quick so we can reach the bottom. Alright, starting off on this one. This one is also 12. Most of these are gonna be 12 because it's just a smaller shelf. But out of the 12, I've read only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5's not bad. 5 out of 12 is a little bit more than the last couple. So that brings us up to, that's a 42%. That's not bad. That at least puts us in the yellow for that shelf. I think only because of my Sherry LaPena books. So, yeah, let's see the next one. This one's a 13. So we've read, let's see, 1, 1. 1 out of 13. So that's 8%. That is horrible. That is absolutely horrible. Anyway, we're going to continue. I have a feeling the next one's not going to be much better. So out of 13, again, we've got 1. Just the me before you. And the one before that was the couple next door. So another 8% out of 13. This is turning out to be so bad. I was doing so good in the YA. Shows you what I read, right? Whew. Okay, onto the bigger shelves. This one may get a little bit better the further I get down, like down here, because these are all my classics, and I've read a lot of my classics. So it'll get worse before it gets better. Alright, I am back to holding you because we're gonna be up here, where all my Jody quote used to be until I got rid of it. So, where's my paper? Where's my paper? There it is. Okay. So this one's got 26 on this one. So starting off, we've got, okay, so not doing so great. 1, 2, 3, 4. None of those. 4. Oh my gosh. What was that, 26 or 27? Where did my paper go? 26. Brings us to 15%. Yeah, it's gonna get worse. Alright, bringing us to our next shelf. This one should be not too bad because I've read these ones down here a little bit more than up here. But we have another 26. I'm scared. Okay, so we've got 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a 19% one. Next up, this one is reaching the end of my adult, so all the way up till here, like literally the last one is starting Little Women, which is the first one in the classics. I keep my classics separate, just so I have them all together. But this one, I am not so confident on either. So let's see. I haven't read any Nicholas Sparks yet. I need to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because Little Women makes 5. I'm doing the math. Alright, that's a 17%er. The adult fiction need a little work. I think I need to do that instead of reading a lot more YA. But these are also the ones that I have obtained more than recently. It's been like the last year since I started the channel. I've been drifting more and more into adult fiction, so that's kind of the reason why. And for my YA, those are ones that I read a lot of when I was in school. So those were just accumulated, already read. Sorry, my light went away real quick. But on this one, we have 19. It's only 19 because I'm not counting these. These are a special edition. I don't want to read these. A lot of them are things like, you know, Shakespeare, Homer, Emerson, Dante. I've read more than half of those, and I have them in different editions. So these ones are kind of just like special just to be here, and they're family handed down. We're not going to count this editions. These are just here to be pretty, to sit and maintain their niceness. So we're not counting these. Starting off, oh, I've read so many more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Got 11 out of 19. If we're gonna count Sense and Sensibility as well as the Pride and Prejudice, technically that would make it 12. I think I will count that. because it's not just one book, it's 2 books. It's the same issue I had with the John Steinbeck one. It's just hard to divvy that up. For him, I'll probably count that as 1 just to make it easier, but since this is just 2 books and I've read both of them, we'll count them. So that makes it 12, which makes it 63%. That's really good. So it shows you what I mostly read, YA and classics. Alright, this one's also been really well read. We got, minus these 3, we've got 23. So we've read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Do I want to count the John Steinbeck as 1? Yeah, we'll count it as 1 because I have read 1 of the stories, so we'll just count it as 1 for right now. 1, 12. Okay. So 12 out of 23, that brings us to 52%. That's pretty good. That shows that more than half of what I read is classics, so. By the way, if you guys have more recommendations for classics, please let me know. And as you can see, the editions are just all over the place. I have some really, really nice old ones, and then collector's editions, and, you know, the really nice Barnes & Noble editions. So it just varies. I just take whatever anybody gives me. My family gift me the classics that I have, so they all vary. All right, I'm going to do this very quickly because I don't have confidence that my phone is going to stay like that for very long. So, starting off with this one, we've got 31 on this shelf. This one's going to be a little bit of a chonker, but that's okay. Starting off, I've only read, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So out of this whole shelf, out of the 31, I have read 19%. So I need to read the nonfiction that are on my shelf because I have only read 1 of those. And that's the majority of the shelf. So I do need to do that. Yeah. Now we get to do the real big kicker, and I'm including these just because they're not on my shelves at the moment. Doesn't mean they're not on my shelves, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to take you over to the TBR card real quick, and we'll just touch on it for like 2 seconds before we move on to the children's. Alright, so from right here, we're going to count the TBR card because those are all books I haven't read yet. So in total, we have 27 on that card, 0 read. So, out of the way. We also have this little pile right here that I don't have a home for yet. These are all my new additions. And this, which used to be over here. I took all these off and rejuvenated it to suit my new TBR that I planned on doing. And that was all what was on it before. So we're going to count that as well. That equaled out to about 27 as well. So that is also a 0. I finally have a shelf close enough to hold you guys the whole time. So, this is my children's section. Most of these I have read because I accumulated these ones, mostly from my mother. She brought them down to me a little bit before me and my husband got married. She just wanted me to have them. She figured, you know, I have this shelf space for them now, so I might as well have them. And any series that I haven't touched on yet, I can take the opportunity to include them in whatever I'm reading. So a lot of them are going to be read. And like this shelf right here, this is going to be a lot of already read. Sorry about the glare from the sun. I can't do nothing about that because I don't have curtains in here yet. So starting off, this one's got 26 on it. Let's see, we've only read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 14, that equals up to 54%. That is not bad. I do eventually want to get to the Narnia series, so hopefully we can knock that number higher even more. But overall, 50%, we're good. Alright, So this one's got a lot more on it. This one's got 69, but that's supposed to be because of the Disney fairies, because all these are very, very tiny books. They're like about this big. So we're going to count all of them. Obviously, there's 69 on this one, and I've read the good majority. This one's going to take me a minute to count, so we're going to like speed count. 59. A lot. That's the highest number we've had so far. And I'm not talking about just how many books. I'm talking about, like, percentage. That's 86%. So, I only haven't read a couple. I haven't read the Black Beauties. And then I also haven't read the Henry books. I was tempted to count them, but I don't remember reading them as a kid. I don't think I was interested in the Henry books. So, those... And then the last of my American Girl, I only got 2 of those I haven't read on here. So 86% is really good. That's the highest number we've had so far. Which is insane. But we had some really good numbers, so I'm okay with that. So next up is this one. This one's got 33 on it. We're going to go from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Got 25 off of this shelf out of 33. That's actually pretty good. It comes out to 76%. That is actually really good too. So the children's are taking the cake on this one, but it probably wouldn't be that high if I wasn't given all the books that I have already read throughout my childhood. So it's counting it because some of them I do want to read. So this one, I don't know if I want to count them, but I will count them. These are all collector's editions. I'm going to show you guys up close. I like these guys. Try to exclude her. We've got Wizard of Oz, we've got Tarzan, we've got the Grimm Tales, Homer. I know I haven't read that one. I started that on like one of my first videos. Excuse me, ma'am. Can you not? Not while I'm filming. Thank you. So yeah, that was about one of my first videos. So overall, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Because I've read anything that I've read at least one book from, I'll just count 1 instead of counting however many books. If I've read at least 1 from each. This is so hard to focus right now with the glare, and I apologize. But we'll move as soon as this shelf is done because I don't need them for the next shelf. But out of the 10, I've read 5 of them, so that's automatically 50%. Yay! Alright, let's move. Hang on. Alright, so we've go ahead and counted up everything, and before I give you the final number, I do want to say there are some books on here that I have read that I do not currently have at the moment. 6 of them are on loan. I have 4 from one lady, I have another one from my friend Jen, and then I have another one from Shannon. They're all dispersed at the moment, so we're going to count 6 more towards the final number because I have read those and those would have been on the shelves. They weren't here currently, but we will add them to the final number. Another thing that I am not going to include is the TBR that I picked for this month. I have read half of them, but more than half of them are going to be DNFs. So we'll touch on that when we get to it, but I'm not going to include those either because I don't know where half of them stand at the moment. So excluding those and then adding in my loans, we have a grand total of 765 books in this room. And that's not including my TBR books. Yeah. That's a lot bigger than the last time I counted. It was like in the 600s last time I counted, but this time I did like a professional count. But now I tallied up how many books I've read and the percentage of how much I've read. So out of the 765 books that I have, I have read 322 of them. Now, I did the percentage math. That equals out to 43%. Which is actually not that bad. That is actually, I'm okay with that, to be honest. Because that means I'm about 7% away from reading half of what I own. Which is pretty good. Now, you're asking me, well, Jamie, how many books do you need before you reach the half point? Well, I'm glad you asked, because I did that math as well. To reach 50% of what I own, excluding the TBR I've already done, I need to read 53 books to make this half. And I can do that in a half of a year, if I take a buying ban drastically. But you know what? I think I can do it, because thinking about how much I've read, if you think about it, I have done so much more reading this year and understood it and retained it, at least my favorites, of how many books I've read this year. I have already read over 100 books this year, which is half of what I need to do to reach my half point. So if I think about it, next year, what I think I'm going to do, because I really do want to reach the half point. That is like insane to me, and that would be just very cool to say. I've at least read half of my library. That would be awesome to say to people. So if I read 53 books specifically next year that are some of the oldest ones on my shelf, kind of like what I did this year. I really enjoyed what I did this year, taking the oldest ones and reading them, figuring out if I want to keep them or if they're gems, like hidden gems that I've been keeping forever that I wish I would have read sooner. There's been a couple. The Crown's Game, one of the books I've read this month is, actually a few of them I've read this month have been really, really good. But I would absolutely love to do this again, have 53 books that I set aside that I do throughout the year. And then half of my TBR can be new books or Kindle books or library picks or whatever. But I think half of my TBR, which would be about 4 books, if I did that for an entire year and read 53, 55 books, I think I can reach that point. So I'm actually really excited. I have like a new mission, and it's invigorating to see the numbers, realizing how much I actually do read, because 322 out of this whole library that I have read is insane. But I know a lot of people do these audits and they're like, I've only read, however many books, but having 429 books on your physical TBR is excessive. But when you do how many books you have read versus that, and you're not accumulating, like I don't accumulate books every month. I haven't bought any so far this month, and actually, that's not true. I bought one book, my book of the month. But that's one book. I don't need to worry about like drastic amounts. Some of you are probably like, well, Jamie, you have 429 books in your physical TBR. Why aren't you going to work on it? Technically, I am. I'm just going at it at a slower pace. But I read so much during the year, naturally. I don't like force myself to read, because that's when I don't read. I can't force myself to read or I stop. I have to read something that I'm really, really interested in, which is when my library reads are like just sitting there mocking me right now. Because there's so many new books on that shelf. And that's another challenge that I have to do this year. I'm probably going to do that next month, is work on new releases, because I have read half of my new releases and we're already more than halfway through the year, and I need to get kickstarted on that. I am so excited, to be honest, for this. Having a new perspective on things, knowing that I've read 43% of what I own, which isn't a terrible number compared to some people. Some people just have the books and they never read them. Or they sit on their shelves and they look pretty, or they read them on their Kindle. I will be excited to say eventually that I have read half, if not more than half, of what I own. I will be taking a Second and Charles trip very, very soon. And I also have another video coming that I think you guys will enjoy as well. But after I take that trip, I will be accumulating more books. It's just natural. But some of them may be ones I've already read before, and I just want them to complete the series, or, you know, it'll be, we'll see. We've got Christmas coming up, we've got my birthday, we've got a whole bunch of other things that'll bring in books, and Book of the Month hasn't really been doing it for me, so toning it down on the new books will definitely help. But yeah, Second to Charles, that's definitely going to make a dent in this. But I wanted to do this before that point to evaluate if I should or not. That is all I have for you guys today. Thank you for joining me and going through and discovering that I've read 43% of all the books that I have in this room. It was very interesting to see. How many books do you guys have in your physical TBR? I'm very, very curious. If you guys have not already, please like and subscribe. That'll help me give you guys more videos every week. Love you, read and drink your teas, and I'm gonna go read some more. Bye!
You say it's hard to tell just what I'm thinking. You think it's hard to see behind my